Well, happy Memorial Day weekend early. Trey Goins-Phillips and I here. You're watching the live taping of our 4 and 3 podcast, which you can listen to on all the places, as we like to say, on iTunes and everywhere else. On YouTube, we've got it on Faithwire's YouTube and right here on social media. So, Trey, how's it going?
I'm good. You look like you're ready for the Memorial Day weekend. Got your hat on, and like
Yeah.
you're just,
Well,
it's just time.
yeah. I mean, this is a podcast technically, so yes, we're on video right now, but I mean, I guess
We
I
just
should
come
plan
as we
for it to
are.
be TV. I just count it as a podcast that nobody's really, you know.
No, I mean
So
I'm just wearing a t-shirt, so you're better than me because at least you have a collar
I
on,
have a collar shirt on. Yeah, no, super
so
fancy,
it balances out.
super fancy, super fancy. All right. Well, we've got before we go, Trey, I wanted to update. We have to update the Michigan story from yesterday. What happened there?
Yes. Yeah,
Just
so
quick.
the First Liberty Institute, which was the law firm that was representing this teenager who is a Christian and was going to talk about her faith in her
Yeah.
valedictorian speech, the school initially said you can't do that because you can't talk publicly at a public school about your faith. So the law firm representing her sent a letter to the school, and after that pressure, the principal decided to backtrack, and the school is now going to let her talk about her faith as she wants to. So that is
Oh,
a really good update.
yes, that is good update. So I think we were praying that sanity would prevail there. It looks like it has. So
Yeah.
all right. Well, let's get this thing underway. Live taping of the 4 and 3 podcast. Here we go.
Faithwire.com.
Well, hello and welcome to 4 and 3, a podcast breaking down 4 of the most important stories of the day and 3 things you need to know about them, all from a Christian perspective. Today's Friday, May 28th, 2021. I'm Dan Andros, and coming up on the podcast today, gas prices continue to soar as Memorial Day weekend approaches. And amid backlash, Zondervan and HarperCollins are not going to publish the God Bless the USA Bible. And Tim Tebow's turning heads early on into training camp. We've got the update. And the Black Lives Matter co-founder, Patrisse Cullors, has resigned amid intense controversy surrounding Black Lives Matter. So we're going to have those stories and more all coming up on the podcast today with Trey Goins-Phillips from Faithwire.com. Trey, how's it going? Memorial Day weekend.
It's good. Hey, right. I'm ready for the 3-day weekend.
Yes. Always fun. And I don't know about your neck of the woods. We have nice weather. It's supposed to rain all weekend, allegedly. So we'll see what happens. But clouds are rolling in here in my neck of the woods, which is Bucks County,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. So,
Well, and the gas prices are going up, so that fantastic news is what we're supposed to.
Fantastic news. Yes, CNN. We're going to dive into that as our first story here. But I had to laugh at the CNN headline because it said, gas prices, soar just in time for Memorial Day weekend. So, I mean, just in time? What do
That's
you
always
mean?
what I'm looking for.
I mean, it's only one of two things. It's either a sarcastic headline from CNN, which is, I don't know if I need sarcastic news headlines from CNN, or they are like really excited about high gas prices ahead of Memorial Day weekend. It's one of the two, and neither one of them are like solid options here.
Yeah, they've left it to us, the reader, to guess. It's just a
Yeah.
little bit of mystery going into the holiday weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, don't dwell on it too much. You don't want to look at CNN's homepage today because it's a doozy.
It's something else. Yeah.
It's something else. Yeah. So all right, let us dive in to story number 1. Gas prices, as we mentioned, they are continuing their steady rise since President Biden took office, as 34 million drivers are expected to hit the roads this weekend. The nationwide average of a gallon of regular gas is now at $3.04, according to AAA. That's a 7-year high and up nearly 60% from just a year ago. And now there's concerns about more future gas shortages, like the ones that were experienced in certain areas just a few weeks ago, when a key pipeline was shut down for a short period of time after a Colonial Pipeline was hacked. And so those concerns are on the rise, and reports this time say it could be because of a lack of tank truck drivers to deliver the fuel and a repeat panic buying sequence that could trigger more of these shortages. So what is generally causing the rise in gas prices right now? Well, if you've browsed the media, you've probably only seen one explanation, and that's just the demand. Well, hey, the economy's revving back up again, and so demand's up. So enjoy your high gas prices, everyone, because everything is fine. Of course, when I say that, think of the meme with the burning fire and everything is fine. But obviously, there are many factors that go into gas prices, not just demand. And so increased demand is one of them. But we can't simply ignore the fact that the Biden and Harris administration have repeatedly maligned gas and oil usage and companies, with Biden even promising to get rid of fossil fuels. So this administration has been very much sort of presenting a message that is anti-fossil fuels, anti-coal, et cetera, et cetera. So naturally, markets are reacting to that. So what's the left saying? Well, the left has sort of waged war on gas and oil producers, aggressively blaming it, the climate change problem, on a lot of that on the oil and gas, industry's shoulders. And so they say we must transition to clean energy, or else the planet will suffer, some sort of scary fate. So what's the right saying? Well, the right generally favors a little bit more of a balanced approach to solving the climate problem and at least transitioning energy sources, because there's obvious ramifications from a forced switch of energy sources before the new sources can keep up with the demands that we have. It would be a disaster if we tried to force it too quickly. So why does it matter? Well, it matters because, most of us have cars, Trey, we heat our homes, and, we use energy. And so, the average person is going to feel the cost of these increases. It's not, the big fat cats that they always talk about aren't really they're not going to care about slight increases to gas prices and energy prices. But, they will, this is going to impact all of us. And so, and then as Christians, Trey, I always say this, but, we can trust that God isn't up there going, whoops, the humans I created went up and blew up the planet before I could return. I kind of messed that one up. The climate alarmism about us destroying the planet. I mean, it's one thing to be good stewards of the planet that God created for us. That's fine. But this fear mongering that we're somehow going to, create this doomsday scenario, I think is far fetched. But another main thing here, let's not fall into the trap of boiling down Memorial Day to just gas prices and picnics, because we're remembering those who died in service to our country. That's what the weekend's supposed to be about. And it's kind of a sad day when we forget that fact. And it seems like a lot of people have.
Yeah. So the first thing I want to say is, like, when I'm reading these stories about the gas prices, it's funny to the media will go out of their way to make sure that it's not too critical of Biden.
Right.
So it's like the gas prices are way up because the economy is doing so well under the new president. So it's just like they'll do backflips and somersaults to make sure that they don't criticize the administration. But on the other issue, like you said, about not really realizing what it is that we're celebrating or remembering this weekend, I got an email from Olive Garden. I think they forgot what Memorial Day is. Like they thought it's just a day to celebrate memories. So this email says a memorable weekend awaits. Okay. That says promo meal. It says make memories over a meal worth sharing. Okay, fine, whatever. Then you keep scrolling and it says, are you looking for a reason to celebrate? Let us help. And it gives you 4 reasons. Celebrate spring.
Let's hear these 4 reasons.
So the 4 reasons are you can celebrate spring this weekend. You can celebrate someone graduating. You can celebrate Memorial Day, but it doesn't give you any explanation of what that is. Or you can just celebrate days that end in Y. So it's like they are like it's read to me like, well, it's a 3-day weekend and we don't really know why, but buy our food.
Celebrate days and why, but how about celebrating those who've given their life, remembering their sacrifice for the country, so that you can go to Olive Garden and sit and eat and not worry about getting attacked by some foreign enemy.
I don't know, like maybe a 10% off for vets would have been sufficient. Right. Anything to recognize what the day is actually about.
Usually marketing efforts are somewhat related to the things going on there. You just don't just make it like random, like something else.
It's just Weird.
Come on, Olive Garden. I love Olive Garden. I love all the bottomless breadsticks and everything else. But come on, let's throw a bone to the troops here.
Yeah. No,
So
I'm a fan of the OG, but it was just I just thought it was funny. It's like a weird promo
right.
there.
I mean, it's probably not malicious, but just come on, guys. Put on your thinking caps here. Let's do a little bit better job.
Yeah. So all right. So story number 2. Well, earlier this month, Religion Unplugged, which is an online faith-based magazine, they posted an article claiming Zondervan and HarperCollins, the leading Christian publishing houses in the country, were, quote, in talks to print a God Bless the USA Bible that includes the lyrics of Lee Greenwood's famous song by the same title, as well as the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and other national documents. So backlash ensued online immedetly. And this week, Zondervan and HarperCollins released a statement saying that the criticism was premature because the publishing house was had only asked or was only asked by a manufacturer for a quote on how much it would cost, and they hadn't actually inked any sort of deal. So news of the possible partnership between Zondervan and Hugh Kirkpatrick, the creator of the God Bless the USA Bible, even sparked a petition that garnered almost 1,000 signatures. The petition said that Zondervan and HarperCollins have been, quote, a great blessing to Christian publishing, but described the supposed Bible project as something that would, quote, damage the brand's image. Casey Harrell, the senior director of corporate communications at HarperCollins, which is Zondervan's parent company, said the project was, quote, not a fit for either party, and they never intended to move forward with it. The Bible was originally slated, though, if that deal had gone forward, to be printed in the new international version, which is licensed by HarperCollins in North America. So this doesn't really fit into the left-right paradigm exactly, but it is worth noting that most of the vocal criticism did come from Christians on the left. The petitioners argued that the Patriotic Bible would be a toxic mix that would exacerbate the challenges of American evangelicalism, adding fuel to the Christian nationalism and anti-Muslim sentiments found in many segments of the evangelical church. And those who oppose the Bible include Shane Claiborne, Lisa Sharon Harper, and Jamar Tisby, and then Anthea Butler. Butler said, "You put a document made for a nation up against what many people believe are the words of God and say those things are equal. Are you telling me these documents are equal? They're not even meant to be compared." Lee Greenwood, though, he said that he felt there couldn't be a better match than faith and patriotism, and he was a fan of the Bible. And Kirkpatrick, though, for his part, he said he has no problem with the controversy that's been sparked over the God Bless the USA Bible. He said that while Zondervan and HarperCollins won't be printing it, he still plans to release it on the anniversary of the September 2001 attacks, the 9/11 attacks, the 20th anniversary. He said that the Bible is going to be printed in the King James Version, which is in the public domain, so it won't require him.
All right, you were taken by the digital warlords there for a moment there on the last sentence. So yeah, this story. I mean, I think I can see the point in kind of especially now with the way that conversation has been framed nationally and how it's kind of been spun into it. Just anytime you mention the two together, it equates to supporting nationalism. So I can see how it could be problematic, and they'd say, it's just sending the wrong message. But so, I mean, it's just the reality of the time we're living in right now. And I do think that, we want to be careful about where we're putting scripture, because as they said, these are the words of God, and we don't want to just, be thoughtless or careless, about how we're comparing them and how we're presenting, a document that, by all measure, at least they were considering God in it when they used it, and that's a lot of what our country's found on based on those principles. So I understand the intent on both sides. So this is kind of one of those things where if people want it, I guess they can still get it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is that people need to vote with their pocketbooks at the end of the day. So if they're opposed to it, have a problem with it, they should feel comfortable to speak out about it, and then they don't have to buy one. So we'll see what happens with it. But the producer of it is pretty confident that this kind of controversy is going to end up being good for him. So,
Yeah. No,
we'll
they always
see.
say that, that's the old saying that no publicity is bad publicity,
Yeah,
which
right.
I think there's a limit to that, but I get the general concept. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's head into story number 3. And Tim Tebow has sparked, as he always does, a lot of conversation when deciding to make the NFL comeback. And after the better part of a decade, that was, since he had taken a snap in the league, so he'd been out for quite some time. Then he had that 5-year stint in Major League Baseball. Now that that's over, he's doing what many suggested he should have done in the first place, which was switch to tight end. At the time, Tebow wanted to sort of sink or swim as a quarterback. Ultimately, that didn't work out for him. But Christians, of course, we're all familiar with the strong faith of Tim Tebow. And so we know that he's not going to make decisions based on orthodox secular thinking. He's going to trust God in whatever direction he feels he can go and should go. And if there's anything about the old Tebow, who's 33, I mean, I guess that's old in football years, the guy's in insane shape. I mean, he's it's ridiculous. I mean, he's and he also hasn't had the opposite side of that. He hasn't had the wear and tear of the NFL for the last 6-7 years. So even though he's a little older, his body's not beaten down in that way. So but he is turning heads so far at training camp, and his new coach, Urban Meyer, who was his coach in college and is now the new coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, said there's a 1 in 90 chance of making the team. I mean, not just for Tebow, he's just saying for everybody out there, except for the obvious stars. So he said, but Tebow is, quote, improving. And this is just, again, a couple days since training camp started. So players seem to be taking to him really well, saying he's a good guy, that they're appreciating his hard work ethic, that he's just fitting in as one of the guys, even though there's a bit of hoopla surrounding him. And so, indeed, the odds are pretty much against him. I mean, but whatever happens, Tebow's not going to let this shake his strong faith. So what's the left, right? Sadly, this should just be like a cool story of somebody trying to make a surprise, roster. But of course, with Tebow and his outspoken faith, is going to be a kind of a left-right thing. And so some on the left, including a lot of sports commentators, complained about Tebow getting a shot and adding that Colin Kaepernick isn't getting a shot, and they're saying it's because Tebow's white. Some on the right saying that, they point out that Colin Kaepernick had been given a chance by the NFL, a workout where it was just going to be him in this workout, and all the NFL teams that wanted to go could go and watch him, and he refused to do it. I mean, that was an unprecedented opportunity, and he refused to do it. I mean, he signed a massive $100 million deal with Nike, so you can understand personally, like, why would he put himself through all that when he can do just fine at Nike? So why does it matter? Well, it just matters because it's fun to watch Tebow try to make it. And we all know if he makes the team, Trey, we all are aware of this, that we're going to have some awesome faith moments in the NFL season. And we could have a little bit of Tebow wire here for for some time during the NFL season if he makes it. I mean, because not only is his faith on the team, but Trevor Lawrence, the rookie quarterback, who's been outspoken about his faith, is there, and of course, Coach Urban Meyer. So you're going to have some potential for some great displays of faith. So we'll all be watching Tebow with anxiously awaiting to see what he does.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it is always nice to see people displaying their faith so openly and so proudly, like Tebow always has, and Lawrence has been the same way. He's been pretty open about his faith. So I think that's encouraging as believers to see prominent figures who are in the secular world, not just ministry leaders, but people who are in the secular world talking openly about their faith and being comfortable to do that. And I've never really understood the backlash against Tebow from the left. I mean, he is just this like teddy bear of a guy, like just a really nice guy. He's always, never really stepping into any sort of controversy other than just being pro-life. I guess that's the big one.
Yeah.
But he doesn't even speak controversially about that. It never gets really engaged in politics. So it's just, it's hate targeted at somebody for no reason.
Yeah. And can we just say how frustrating it is as pro-lifers to be that's controversial to be pro-life?
Yeah.
We're not the ones ending life in the womb. Why are we controversial? It's that's one of the great mysteries of the world to me, how that's a thing, but it is. And so I guess we just got to deal with it.
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunately. But
Yeah.
like I said, or like you mentioned, we'll probably have plenty of uplifting stories too about Tebow and Lawrence going into the season.
Yeah. If he makes the team. So we'll be praying for that.
So, all right. Story number 4. So, Black Lives Matter, one of its co founders, Patrisse Cullors, she announced that she's stepping down from her leadership role from BLM's charitable arm. It seems tough to separate her resignation from the intense scrutiny she's faced for purchasing 4 lavish homes while violent rioting and protesting was breaking out all across the United States last year. The 4 houses, which she'd been seeking out since 2016, totaled some $3.2 million. So the decision comes after the Daily Caller reported Cullors was earning some $20,000 a month in 2019 for leading a jail reform group. The outlet also reported this week that the group was funneling tens of thousands of dollars and business to an art company run by the father of Cullors' child. So the Black Lives Matter PAC paid the art company, Trap Heels, nearly $150,000 in November to co-produce an election night live stream on Cullors' personal YouTube page. But the stream ended up being filled with all kinds of technical glitches and difficulties. But nevertheless, Cullors said that her departure had nothing to do with all of this. Those criticisms, she argued, were nothing more than right-wing attacks that tried to discredit my character. She said, "I don't operate off of what the right thinks about me." So what's the left saying? Well, it isn't just the left that's been frustrated with her. Hawk Newsom, a leader of the Black Lives Matter chapter in New York City, he called for an investigation into her. He said, if you go around calling yourself a socialist, you have to ask how much of her own personal money is going to charitable causes. It's really sad because it makes people doubt the validity of the movement and overlook the fact that it's the people that carry this movement. So what's the right saying? Well, conservatives have been pretty quick to call out Cullors for her hypocrisy, arguing that she's benefited greatly from capitalism while outwardly celebrating Marxism and advocating for socialism. So why does it matter? I think this is just a clear-cut case of hypocrisy, Dan. There's not really a way around that, and it's silly for her to suggest that the backlash has nothing to do with the criticism she's faced. The silver lining here, though, I guess, is that more people every day are starting to realize, I think, the damage of the official Black Lives Matter organization. There are plenty of people on the periphery who mean well, but the organization itself just doesn't seem at all to be out to help people. It's just a cause to create division and make money for its founders.
Yeah, I mean, that's regardless of whatever their intentions were at the start. I mean, it certainly seems like that's been the result anyway. And like you said, on the left and right, you have people saying, well, where's the money going? I mean, they had a huge windfall of cash, and it's just not a good look to have the founder pocket a bunch of cash, buy a bunch of well above average priced homes, very nice homes in nice areas, multiple homes, and then leave the scene. It's kind of like, wait a minute here. I don't know if we can, if people are going to allow that to stand, but nevertheless, they continue to, and now it's just become sort of the hashtag. And so, I mean, if you search Black Lives Matter on Google, that's the first thing that pops up is that website. And again, this is a website that was actively promoting against the nuclear family, and some very radical views. This is not just a simple, hey, we want to raise awareness about injustices being done against African Americans. That's not the core of their message. It goes way deeper than that. And as she said, she's a trained Marxist. So, that's what's underlying a lot of this stuff, not just these supposed, like, let's fight against injustices. They've got a way bigger agenda than just that.
And I think the frustrating thing for conservatives is, we don't care that she's bought these houses or that she's used her money how she wants to use it. The problem is that she's, do as I say, but not as I do. Like, I've done all of this, but it's right for me to do it. But as a whole, the country needs to get rid of it because the country is just so systemically racist. But the system seems to have been working for her. So it's just a frustrating.
Well, the minute she gets her hand on some money, then she does what she complains that everyone else does, buying up multiple
Sure.
houses. And then she's saying, well, I've got to take care of my family. It's like, well, what is everyone else doing? They're not taking care of their families.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
it's just, it's absurd, and it's definitely hypocritical to promote Marxism, socialism. But again, that's what happens every time someone tries to implement socialism or Marxism. When you've seen it in history a million times, that the elites that get power in that, they enrich themselves, and they do it by
Yeah.
saying, well, we're promoting the cause here, so we're doing all this good, we need it.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why people think this time we'll do it right, but it just continues to happen. People keep thinking that Marxism, socialism is going to be a great idea.
Yeah. Well, on a different note, going into the weekend,
Yes.
people should just take a few days and just not read any of the news. Just take
Except
some time
Faithwire.
off because
Do that.
yeah,
You can
read
read
Faithwire
Faithwire.
and read CBN.
Yeah.
But other than our two sites, just
Yeah.
take the weekend off.
Yeah. We've got plenty of stories there that are just faith
There's some encouraging
stories.
stuff there.
Read some
Yeah.
testimonies, go through and be encouraged with your faith. Don't
Yeah.
don't be drowned out by all the nonsense. So I agree. That's good advice
Sure.
heading into Memorial Day weekend, and that is all the time we have for today. Thanks for being here this week. And again, you can follow us on all of the things: iTunes, YouTube. Look for Faithwire. Look for 4 and 3, and go ahead and give us a follow. We'll be breaking down 4 big stories of the day and give you some angles about them as well. And as always, head on over to cbnnews.com, faithwire.com for news from a Christian perspective. God bless you all. We will see you back here Tuesday. All right. We are clear.
Well, and people can still watch our YouTube channel too. I didn't say that. I should have said,
Yeah.
watch our
That's all
YouTube
right.
channel.
It's all right. I mean, you can. We're not gonna look. If you unplug, just unplug. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it. It's not bad advice, but
But make sure you come back Tuesday.
yeah, make sure you come back. But honestly, though, you think about that, and what you can do is just go. This is like a lost art form. It's just going directly to the site. Put a bookmark on your web browser and just go directly to the sites. Don't rely on social media. Like, I'm so over relying on these algorithms and just
Yeah, for sure.
again, I mean, watch the what's that one on Netflix, the
Social Dilemma.
You just
Yeah.
really, I mean, we all know there's an algorithm and it's trying to feed us, but they just do a really good job of painting that picture of what the algorithm's trying to do, and it's just only goal is just keep you hooked on their feed. They don't really care how they do it. And I gotta say, by the way, did we talk about this? But I was talking with a friend about the voice activation, and then how you get an ad when you haven't searched something. And then I turned off my Siri. I turned it off because it just creeped me out again. My wife got me a bike for my birthday a few weeks ago. And so I've been trying to do that to get some exercise in, because I'm just done with running because my body can't take it anymore. So I've been riding a bike, and I'm like, you know what? After a couple long bike rides, I said, I really need to get one of those bike shorts that have like the pads or whatever. I just said it. I said it to her. And the next morning, when I get my phone out and I went on to I don't know, I searched something, but the first ad was for padded bike shorts. It's so creepy. I
It's
know
so
I didn't search
creepy.
that. It's the only time I've ever even said it. One time. And it knew.
It is so weird.
It is.
But
It's
no,
so
after I watched The Social Dilemma, I thought I'm gonna get rid of every device that I have.
Yeah.
But then I thought, oh wait, I guess we can't with the industry that we're in.
I know we can't. I know. Unless we're going to like farming or something.
Yeah.
But
I
you
don't know.
should
I
turn
don't know
off-
that I would. I don't know that I would last as a farmer.
I think
I mean,
what you can do, though, I think there's a lot of useful apps. I think taking the social media ones off are kind of the primary thing, because those are the ones I notice that whenever I go to use my phone, like a lot of the apps I use just when I need them, like GPS or whatever else might be just necessary for a specific task. Whereas social media kind of lures you into just sort of lounging around and scrolling and let's see what everyone's talking about. It just kind of keeps you there. Whereas some of the other ones. Like I've deleted Facebook and Twitter from my phone.
Yeah.
So I'm not on those on my phone, which has been helpful. It's reduced some of the time where I look at it, but
And you find yourself getting less frustrated too. Like since I've deleted the Twitter app from my phone, it's like I don't need to know what everybody's tweeting all the time.
No.
There's no reason to get frustrated about that stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
No, we're seeing what life looks like when Twitter starts to bleed into real life, and it's not good.
Yeah.
It's not
at all.
At all. I mean, people trying to get these hot take moments and then film them. It's nonsense. But all right, well, everyone, have a great weekend. Thanks for being here. We will, as we said, we'll see you back here on Tuesday. So enjoy. Thank a troop somewhere if you see them. If you see them out, make sure you do that. Big weekend for them as well. So many of them have lost, close friends and things like that, and we've all, have family members who are soldiers. So much to be thankful for on that front. So make sure you thank a soldier this weekend. Should do it all the time, but definitely this weekend. So
for sure.
All right, everybody.